What's up, guys? We got one of the most famous female fighters on the planet. You know her as the Karate Hottie. I know her as Michelle Watterson, and we're feeding her pizza. Welcome to Food Truck Diaries. You're going with margarita?
I am.
I'll do the pepperoni.
And a pepperoni.
Mac and cheese pizza. How about no? The roasted butternut squash pizza? Nah.
Hey, you can't knock it until you try it.
I like the simple stuff. Couple Aurora cats here.
Yeah.
We're from the same hometown. You guys know that? When people are like, oh man, when they talk about famous people from Aurora, you're probably the most famous.
Am I?
By far.
I'll take
By
it.
far.
I'll take it. I gotta represent.
You're definitely the most famous person ever out of Central High School. And especially because you've been fighting for a long ass time.
Yeah.
I mean, you're a vet.
Yeah.
And I feel like you're bigger now than ever.
To the outside world, everybody's seeing it, but it's like an accumulation of professional. Like I've been fighting for over 12 years professionally and doing martial arts since I was 10. So like over 2 decades of work and it's now starting to break through the surface.
I just feel like right now it's kind of your time.
Going from Invicta 105, jumping up to UFC 115, it was a huge jump for me. And
That's a huge jump.
Yeah, and a transition, you know? And so I had to learn, I had to grow, and I did really well. The UFC was pushing me. You know, I got the main event with Paige Van Zandt, was able to secure a great victory in that. And then, you know, like I hit a speed bump along the way, and I'm not ashamed of it, you know, losing to Rose and...
oh, she happens to be pretty good.
The champ?
Well, not now.
Not anymore.
She was, though.
Hey, but she was winning. In her defense, I guess.
She was definitely winning, but I also, not to sidetrack here, but I also think, especially in certain divisions, like with Joanna, she was so dominant,
yeah.
People started tuning out the division. We were aware of Joanna, but she was just so damn dominant.
Yeah.
And sometimes when a champ loses, and you look at the matchups, like, oh, this is gonna get fun. I feel like that's where you guys are at 115.
After Andrade won, I was curious to see if...
Did you, first of all, did you think she was gonna beat Rose?
I thought that if she was going to beat Rose, it would be in that fashion. It would be her slamming her and...
Really?
Yeah.
Because she's kind of a brute?
I gave the fight to Rose. The only thing that I was worried about is I know that Rose sometimes has a tendency to take risks because she is so well-rounded and because she is so confident in every aspect of her game. So if it hits the ground, Rose isn't going to be like Joanna in the sense where I don't want to be here, let me get up.
Correct.
She's going to be like, all right, let's roll. I'll submit you from here.
Yep.
And you could see that, especially in the first round when Andrade went to take her down.
Yeah, she was cool.
Rose was like, hey, I'm cool here.
Yeah,
I'll submit you here. And she like went for the Kimura, or even going for the Kimura to try to go for the armbar when she was on her back. And those are things that Rose does naturally. Against a fighter like Andrade, you kind of have to be a little bit more stubborn, like Joanna is.
Is it fair to say she's kind of the only fighter in that division where you have to be that cautious?
I would say so, for sure. Because it's no secret what Andrade's power points are. You know what she's going to do. She's not going to try to change her game plan depending on who she's fighting. Her game plan's always going to be the same thing no matter who she's fighting. So
during the broadcast, which I'm sure you listened to because you watched the fight, they're basically saying how you should be the next one in line for the title shot.
Yeah,
you feel the same?
100% I do.
I think it's a two-person race. You and Tatiana.
Who? No, I'm just
you're like, who?
No. You know, I hear a lot of that, but it's crazy because she has a fight coming up, you know, and she can't look past her fight. Nina's dangerous.
I hear you. She's definitely dangerous.
You can't look past that.
You can't.
In my opinion.
But let's say that she does get by that fight. It'd be you and her.
If it's between her and I'd say let her and I duke it out for the fight.
Really?
Yeah, for sure. If it comes down to that, I'd rather them let her and I fight
for a clear-cut winner.
Contender.
The only thing with that is I don't think because she has a fight in June, so July. I think it's gonna take too long.
That's
you
why
know what
they
I'm saying?
should-
Because
yeah.
Andrade, she talks about how she wants to give Rose the rematch in Denver.
Yeah.
Maybe we don't know where Rose is mentally.
That's really honorable for Josh to do because Denver's Rose's hometown. Rose don't care about none of that stuff though.
She doesn't care, but at the same time too, in your title defense, give the champ a little help. Don't fly her to frickin' Brazil against the
I
worst
don't
case
know why they did
matchup possible.
I was in the stadium, and at the very beginning.
Wait, you were at the fight?
I was in Brazil.
Oh damn, I didn't know that. So you
I-
probably didn't hear the broadcast.
Yeah, so the crowd is insane.
Have you fought in Brazil?
Never. I've never fought overseas.
I don't recommend.
But 1/3 of the arena filled up, and it sounded like it was insane. It sounded like the entire arena was full.
Oh, so it wasn't a sold out crowd?
No, at the very beginning of the night.
Oh wow!
Like
the prelims.
For the prelims, not even a quarter of the arena's full, you know, and they were just already loud.
And it is so intense.
When Silva
when Anderson, his
injured his
leg.
knee, they did not let that guy talk on the mic.
Oh, Cannonier, they didn't let him get a word out.
You couldn't hear anything. You could not hear anything. Yeah, and
it's a special place. I'm sure
Yeah.
it's great if you're Brazilian.
I wouldn't personally, as the champ, go out there.
That's my thing, and it's like a champ, a fight, whoever, wherever. Nah, I get that. That's fine, but as far as just a business decision,
Yeah.
it just doesn't make sense for Rose.
Us, like collectively as fighters, need to kind of check our pride and our ego at the door when it comes to making business decisions. And it's hard, right?
But that should be your manager, right?
Yeah, but even as a fighter, I think we need to be a little smarter. Like our careers are really short-lived. There's a time and place for everything. There is a time when you have to say F it.
True.
I'm gonna take this fight. I need to get into the UFC. I'm gonna
Yeah.
take this fight on 2 weeks' notice.
Yeah.
When you've broken into the next level,
Yeah.
and you're the champ,
Yeah.
you know, there has to be some thought going
I
into
agree.
like the fight begins before the fight ever begins.
Correct.
You know, and so you have, like you said, you got to stack your chips. You got to start winning the battle in every place possible.
Pan Ford announcement comes in 2 weeks. You're fighting Andrade in Brazil. Would that be something you'd be interested in? Just for a title shot, though, you know?
I'd have to sit down and talk to my coaches about it because there's a lot to go into it. I've never fought overseas. Number one, crowd can always dictate the judges.
For sure.
The way the judges think. I'd rather fight on
It's tricky.
even playing grounds.
How do you think you match up with Andrade?
I think I'm a great matchup. I feel like it would be speed versus power, technique versus strength, and I feel like my wrestling has gone up in levels, and I don't think it's anything that people realize how good my wrestling has gotten because I use it when I need to. In instances against a fighter like Andrade, I think that the patience and
I think your fight IQ is going to come in pretty handy there.
having the patience, having the more well-rounded technique and the ability to capitalize on openings when I see them, I think is going to play a big part.
I feel like with Andrade too, you have to go in knowing you're in for the long haul.
For sure.
It's gonna be tough to put her away with one shot.
We all know that she can go 5 rounds. You know, she went
sure.
5 rounds with Joanna. So you just got to go in prepared for that. So, and I know I am.
I like the matchup.
Yeah?
All right, let's feed you some pizza.
All right.
We have the margarita.
Thank you, sir.
Hey,
Oh wow, that
thank
looks
you.
nice.
The pepperoni.
Thank you, sir.
There's some condiments here. You can help yourself.
That looks really nice.
Enjoy.
Thank you,
All
sir.
right, I'm digging in.
I'm glad that you don't have a fight announcement because you can eat this stuff.
Okay. Fun.
You have the napkins over there.
Nice
Thank you.
crunchy crust.
Not bad. We haven't had a bad one yet, though.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say which one's my least favorite, but all of them have been pretty good.
Are you pretty like my mom's the biggest critic? I can't take her anywhere.
Oh, she's a foodie?
Well, when it
Yeah,
comes to
also known as a hater. I'm not
She's
gonna.
a hater.
Yeah, she's a hater. I'm not gonna leave like a review on Yelp, you know, or like I would never leave a YouTube comment, but I'll definitely give you my opinion. You know what I'm saying?
Like personally?
Yeah.
Or you would just like word of mouth give your opinion to friends?
Word of mouth.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to hate on the business.
We've gotten kicked out of restaurants because my mom will be at a Korean barbecue. My mom, this not how you make it. This not
Really?
what the picture look like.
Really?
No vegetable.
No vegetable. Yo, Mom, what the hell?
Mom, we were in China, and she was trying to tell the Chinese people how they should make their food.
And she's Thai, correct?
And she's Thai. She's like, I know. I live in America and I eat Chinese food all the time. You tell me you don't have fried rice?
No, what?
And I'm like, Mom, you can't tell Chinese people
Yo,
how
please
they
don't
cook
do
their
it's so
food.
embarrassing. I went to Burger King with my dad. Burger King! It's fucking Burger King. And they bring food out. I'm like, oh, please don't say anything, Dad. It's Burger King. This is years ago. And he puts his fingers into the onion rings, goes, when was the last time you checked on these? When'd you make these? I'm all, Dad, it's Burger King, you know, so who cares? He's like, no, I need fresh ones in front of everyone. Like, oh, dear God, man.
That's my
Yeah,
mom.
maybe your mom and my dad should start like a Food Network channel or
I
something.
tell my mom
Just
that
call
all
it
the
The
time.
Haters.
I'm like, Mom, you should be like a food critic.
It'd be hilarious.
Oh my gosh.
Gonna get a little serious on you here. I know when I had kids, me as a man, it was like a little bit daunting just because you have this responsibility.
Yeah.
And I wasn't fighting at the time. I was in entertainment, so it was a different animal. I can't imagine having kids and fighting now. I can't imagine it. I watched the E60 and it's some powerful stuff because your daughter at the time I think was 3, and you bring her to the fights, and one of the fights, I think it was a UFC fight you lost, and she's crying backstage. I can't imagine being a fighter having a kid. I just can't. Just a different animal.
I think that having her made me want to solidify my career as a fighter. Because if I wasn't able to fight and help provide for my family, it wasn't going to be worth it. I mean, you know.
You're saying if you're just like,
If I'm just kind of like in and
winning
out,
one, yeah.
like whatever. Especially at the time that I was fighting. I mean, I was fighting when it was taboo for females to fight. You know, I was in the same era as, you know, I wouldn't say as early as Misha Tate and you know, Gina Carano and Julie Kedzie, but for sure just right after them.
right after them,
Right
yeah,
after
correct.
them. You know, my pro debut was 2007. I'd like to say.
Yeah.
You know, so being a mother, I think in fighting, and it's probably the same in comedy, but same in life, is there are things that happen to you in life, and you can allow it to build you up, or you can allow it to tear you down. And so I used being a mother as something to build me up. I used it as motivation to want to get to where I was going to be, and there were times when I didn't think I could do it. There were times when
when you were pregnant?
when I was pregnant,
Or
for sure.
when after she was born?
When I was pregnant, for sure, because it's not like a normal job where I could continue my career and then maybe take 3 months off, you know. Another thing that you talked about is it being, you know, fighting, being a very selfish sport, and
The most selfish.
for sure. I think the way we got around that was making my family a part of the team. And, you know, my husband is always in my corner, and so is my daughter, and that's why I bring her to all the
Daughter's
fights.
in your corner?
She's not in my corner.
She's at all the fights?
She's at every single one of my fights. And
You know, my daughter's my cut man, so that's pretty cool. Yeah. Well, she's 4. So.
she has, but I mean, even at the gym, she's been there.
Do you feel more pressure doing that? Because fighting is so, at least for me, it was so scary and emotional.
Yeah.
Like, I almost didn't, I don't know, I didn't want my family, it was so heavy
Yeah.
to me. Like, is it, because I feel like there'd be more pressure with your husband in the corner, no?
Yeah. I feel like as soon as I'm walking out of the tunnel, I don't see anything anyways. So it doesn't matter, you know. Fight week, leading up to fight week, it's different. You understand. It's kind of like there are different phases. So it's like fight camp is one phase, fight week is another phase. Weight cut is a small little phase, but it's a very important phase. And then the fight.
Yeah.
You know, and so by the time the fight comes around, there's nothing else on my mind except for beating the person across the cage from me. And so I'm not thinking of my daughter. I'm not thinking of anything else except for what's in front of me.
That's probably why you're a really good fighter. I was thinking of all sorts of stuff.
But I think it took training to get there. You know, it took time because you can't help but think all those thoughts.
Yeah.
And that might be one of the reasons why I lost when I did, the time when my daughter was crying and my eye was so swollen that I couldn't see out of it.
That was tough to see. Yeah.
But, because there are moments in the fight when, you know, you're not actually in the fight.
Yes.
And have you had those moments?
Yeah.
When it's like, you're kind of like having an outer body experience and you're looking at yourself and you're like, why are you getting hit like that? Move out of the way.
It's very strange. Yeah, it's like, I was having one, I forget who was on top of me. I'm like, what am I doing? Like, what?
You're like having a conversation
and then I'm
with
like, I
yourself?
can't believe I'm here, man. There's a lot of people. I'm like, this is crazy, man.
You just had this whole conversation.
Yeah, and then it's
You're
like
punching the-
minutes are going by. I'm getting beat up. I'm like, we should probably get out of here. Meaning you got to get up and do something.
Yeah.
And then you're back in the fight.
Yeah.
It's very strange.
Yeah, so
But
much
don't
can
you
happen.
feel like you never feel like you need to separate the two because there's the valleys are so low in fighting and then the peaks are so high. And I guess it's good you have a partner in crime with your husband who does all this stuff for you. But like when I come home, if my girl was a comedian, it'd be exhausting if we're going through the same thing.
We've bumped heads.
You'd have to. He's like, oh yeah.
he hates it because he's an amazing striking coach, but not just striking, but just MMA. He has an eye for fighting.
Yeah.
More so than I do, and I would say, you know, the reason why my last 3 fights has been as successful as they have because he's kind of just taken a bigger role in getting everything together. But it is hard because sometimes he'll tell me to do something, and because he's my husband, I'm like, whatever, you know. And then
Yeah, how do you turn off at home? Like coach and husband, you know what I'm saying?
he'll say stuff like, if you were my wife, I'd make you go run laps right now. And or he'll say, how about this? I'll just tell Coach Wink what I think, and then maybe you'll listen to what he has to say because you're not listening to me.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
And
though.
so, and that pisses me off because I want him to know that I care about him, and it's just, it's a learning curve. It really is.
It's not a strange, it's obviously working, successful dynamic. It's just a very interesting dynamic. I don't think anyone's really dived into.
We're making it work, and I think it's only strengthened our relationship. He gave up a very promising career as a fighter himself, and so I feel like,
Do you feel pressure?
not pressure, but I feel
'Cause he
like
gave
it's
up
a
everything?
family business. It's our goal, you know, not just his, but our daughter's too. You know, she's sacrificed a lot too. We've had to not celebrate her birthday because it was during fight camp
Yeah, it's tough.
and push it off until mommy was done fighting.
Yeah.
She's had to, you know, miss the last days of school because mommy's fighting and we had to go do this thing. And sometimes, you know, I snap at her because I'm hangry.
Yeah, you're cutting weight.
And I'm
or
cutting weight,
stress.
and she understands that.
Yeah.
Because I'll snap at her, and then, you know, an hour later I'll come back and I'll talk to her about it. And I'm like, sorry, baby, mommy's just had a really long
She
day.
understands.
And she's like, it's okay, Mom, I understand. I've been there.
Aw.
And she's like, I get hangry too sometimes.
Aw, she's so cute. They
So-
call her the karate cutie, right?
karate cutie.
So cute, too. I almost think it's kind of good that your daughter did witness you lose because I remember when Max Holloway fought Dustin Poirier and his son was in the crowd. And Max is probably the greatest featherweight of all time, Hall of Famer, right? Pound for pound list. But all his son knows is Daddy does this and he wins. Daddy does this, he wins. They don't realize that the game's really not like that.
Yeah. And that is life. It's right. It's how you deal with adversity, how you deal with failures, because it's bound to happen. And if you just, what do you do after your failures? Do you just kind of wash your hands of it and then, you know, give up? Or do you, dust your shoulders off, maintain your dignity, and continue to strive forward? And I think that it shows a lot about a person's character with how they deal with their failures.
But I also think it's good for your daughter to see, like, I'm sure you get asked this all the time. Do you want your daughter to fight? Is your daughter gonna be a fighter? And people ask me, you want your son to be a fighter, a boxer, UFC guy? The thing about that is, If he's gonna do it, he's gonna do it. If she's
Yeah.
gonna do it, she's gonna do it. But the good thing is she has seen certain aspects that no one has any idea about. When I was fighting, especially going through Ultimate Fighter and before then, I was undefeated. No fight really went past a round. It was all rainbows and knockouts and getting paychecks. I didn't know, like when you lose, that's when you find out what it's all about. So your daughter can make a more conscious decision because she's seen
Yeah.
the kind of how the hot dog's made.
Yeah.
She goes backstage with you. She knows, the camp and you get hangry and all the sacrifices.
Yeah.
She's missing the birthdays. Like, that's fighting.
I think a lot of people love the idea of being a fighter. It's kind of like, the idea of being a rock star of being a celebrity. And then once you realize
There's a lot that goes into
all
it.
the baggage that goes into it, it's a different monster. And it takes a certain person to be able to travel down that road, So people ask her all the time, you want to be a fighter like your mom? And she's like, I don't want to get hit in the face.
Smart kid. This is a good sign, you guys. This is a good sign. Mom was also a model. Mom was a cheer. Like, the mom was a lot of things, though. That's what's cool.
If you gave a kid a choice to chill at home and watch Netflix and YouTube versus go outside and play, I would say the majority of kids would want to chill and watch YouTube.
Yeah,
and Netflix.
most of them, correct.
We forced her to be active, and in turn, she finds out what it is to work hard and to have to go to gymnastics practice even when she doesn't feel like going.
Yeah.
And I think those are important things that kids need to learn now. And sometimes we force her to do nothing, not watch TV, not to watch YouTube, and chill when mommy and daddy are working and be bored.
Yeah.
Because she needs to learn how to do that too.
Chill out, which is the toughest
Because
thing
I'm
to do.
bored. What am I going to do to entertain myself?
Use your imagination,
Yeah,
girl, like
yeah.
I did. That's what I did, staring at the wall, coming up with fake friends. It can be a little weird, but it pays off.
Coming up with fake friends.
Coming up with fake friends. Now, I'll ask you, I'm sure I know the answer, kind of. Do you want more?
I
You guys
do.
want more kids?
I do. Is that the answer that you thought?
I thought you were going to be like, I do, but after
my
I become
career.
champion. Yeah.
I'm 33 now, and just the road back to fighting after having a kid is a hard road back. And I'd like to cement my legacy in MMA and then go on to the next chapter of my life.
How many more years do you see yourself fighting? Have you ever thought about that?
I would say max 5 more years.
Yeah, 5 years is a good run. Mm-hmm. Really good run. That means you'd be doing a total of how many years?
I'm on 12 now, so it would be 17.
17 years. That's insane.
If you asked me as, a high schooler even, as a senior in high school, what would I be doing as an adult? I would have never told you fighting professionally in the UFC.
For 17 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane. I find, and I've trained at Jackson's and we've trained together in Denver, I find Jackson's fascinating for many reasons. You guys are the most successful gym in the world, the most famous gym in the world. You got Greg there, you got Wink there. With any major gym, there's drama. You're never involved in it. Neither, like there's a certain group at Jackson's that's never, you guys never really comment.
Yeah.
Like it's just like, Holly's never involved.
Yeah.
You're never involved. Like there's a group where it's just like, you
whatever.
don't hear from you guys. Yeah, you guys just go in there and do work.
Fighters are very strong-willed, opinionated, alpha people, and when you get a lot of strong-willed, opinionated people together, you're gonna bump heads. And a lot of things happen with time. People grow, people evolve.
For sure.
And that's just the nature of life, is the seasons of life. And I think it's only natural for things to grow, and sometimes you just grow out of people, and
There's nothing wrong with
There's
that
nothing
either.
wrong with it, and it just happens.
One of the things I find fascinating about Greg Jackson is, to me, he's the Phil Jackson of MMA. Mm-hmm. Like he's not really going to teach you how to shoot the perfect jump shot, but he can come from, look on the outside and go, oh, you should do this. This guy fights like this. I would focus more on this. He's good at managing those egos and personalities.
Yeah, like when he breaks down fights, it's more like on a psychological level.
Yes.
It's more like conceptual, and he can say something and it makes perfect sense, and it has nothing to do with fighting. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's almost like a bigger meaning.
Yeah.
Like his concepts are almost, it's like it's a deep cut, as the kids call it. It's a deep cut. We're like, damn, all right,
Yeah,
man.
you went deep.
Yeah, you went super deep. I was just talking about an arm bar, but all right, arm bar in life, I guess now. He's a genius, man, when it comes to mixed martial arts.
You know, he was one of the people that gave me the confidence to know I could come back into fighting after having Araya, you know, because I freaked out. I said, this isn't, at the time I was 25, I thought that was the prime of my career. You know, I just came off a bully beatdown and I thought I was gonna use that to launch me, and then I got pregnant and I was like, what am I gonna do? Am I gonna be able
you thought bully beatdown was gonna launch you?
Hey.
I'm more shocked by that than anything. You know, I thought I was gonna jump off bully beatdown. I thought I was gonna blow up, you know, and it didn't work out.
Hater over here.
But whatever you've done is work because you're here. I don't think it's because of bully beatdown, but you're on this show.
This is what's
Hopefully
gonna give me my big break. This show right here.
I love that show,
See?
man. Yeah, hell yeah. Shout out to bully beatdown.
And I just,
Has anyone done it though? Has anyone like had a child at that age and then?
There are quite a few mothers in MMA.
Yeah, but during the middle of their career, I'm trying to think.
Sarah Kaufman, no, not Sarah Kaufman. Sarah McMahon, Alexa Davis, Kat Zingano.
So there's a few.
Rosie Sexton. Those are the ones that come to mind. Beck Rawlings.
That's right. There's a few with kids.
Those are the ones.
Now I can remember like taking a leave of absence from the UFC and then coming back.
Yeah, that's what I want to cement my legacy. I want to be the first champion who's a mother.
You're either damn close to the opportunity or you're gonna get it next.
Yeah.
And man, I'm so proud of you. You're killing it, and I'm glad you came on the show.
Thank you.
I don't know if you're gonna get the same rub that you did off Bully Beatdown, but we'll do our best. Ladies and
I
gentlemen.
didn't even finish my story. What was I talking about? Oh.
You're talking about how you can be world champion and you can be the first mom, which is great. Or you're
well,
talking about Bully Beatdown.
I was just freaking out because I thought that I didn't know where my career was going to go. And it was 10 months of being pregnant. And every day that went by as I was pregnant, I saw everybody getting better.
Yeah.
And then they started a female league called Invicta, and everybody was getting signed, and all these girls were getting these huge opportunities. And then Dana brought the women's division into the UFC, and I just see all this stuff passing me by, and I'm on the outside just gaining weight, just eating for two, even though I didn't have to.
That must have been tough.
And Coach Jackson was like, Peanut, you're 25. You have your whole career ahead of you.
Young.
Like, he made it so nonchalant, and he's like, basically like, you're tripping.
Yep.
You'll be okay. And we'll be here to catch you, you know?
And he was right. Mm-hmm. He was definitely right.
Yeah.
Well, I wish you the best. I know you got a busy day.
Thank you.
Hopefully this pizza, you guys can take it with you.
Yeah, we will.
It's early, but still.
It was really good.
Thank you for doing
this. I enjoyed
this.
it. Thank you for having me. You're awesome.
You're awesome.